Princess Zaralyn of the Andorian royal house pressed her face against the cold transparisteel of her transport vessel, watching the stars streak past as they carried her toward a fate she despised. In 3 days, she would arrive at the Proxima system to marry Prince Vextor, a political alliance that would unite 2 warring empires but condemn her to a lifetime with a being she had never met. Her silver-blue skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns that betrayed her emotional turmoil, something her diplomatic training had never quite taught her to suppress. The neural tendrils that crowned her head like an elaborate headdress pulsed with anxious energy, betraying thoughts she wished to keep private. "Your Highness," her personal guard, Captain Thane, approached with military precision. "We've received word that the wedding preparations are proceeding on schedule. Prince Vextor sends his regards." Zaralyn's patterns shifted to deeper blues, the Andorian equivalent of a sigh. "How considerate of my future husband to remember I exist." Captain Thane had served her family for 15 years, and she could read the conflict in his stoic expression. He was bound by duty to ensure her safe arrival, but his loyalty to her as an individual made him sympathetic to her plight. The ship's alarms suddenly pierced the quiet of the royal quarters. "What's happening?" Zaralyn demanded as emergency lights bathed the corridor in red. "Pirate vessels, Your Highness," Thane replied, his hand moving instinctively to his weapon. 3 ships closing fast. "They've disabled our engines." Through the viewports, Zaralyn could see the attacking vessels, sleek, predatory craft that moved with the fluid grace of hunters. As the pirates boarded her transport, she felt a strange mixture of fear and hope. Perhaps fate was offering her an alternative to political imprisonment. The boarding party burst through the main hatch with weapons drawn, but their leader made Zaralyn's breath catch in her throat. He was human, a species she had only heard about in diplomatic briefings. Tall and lean, with dark hair and the kind of confident stride that suggested he was accustomed to taking what he wanted from the universe. "Nobody moves, nobody gets hurt," he announced in accented galactic standard. His eyes swept the room until they found her, and she saw them widen slightly in recognition. Well, Princess Zaralyn herself. This job just got a lot more interesting. Captain Marcus Drake had expected a routine kidnapping. Snatch a minor royal, demand ransom, retire to a comfortable life on some outer rim world. He hadn't expected the princess to be the most beautiful being he'd ever encountered, with luminescent skin that seemed to tell stories in light and eyes like captured starlight. "Captain Drake!" Thane stepped forward, his hand on his sidearm. "I won't let you harm her." "Relax, tin soldier," Drake replied, though his attention remained fixed on Zaralyn. "Princess, you're coming with us. Your family will pay handsomely for your safe return." "And if I refuse?" Zaralyn asked, surprised by her own boldness. Drake smiled, and she felt something flutter in her chest that had nothing to do with fear. "Then I'll have to carry you. Though I'd prefer your cooperation." What happened next surprised everyone, including Zaralyn herself. "I'll come willingly," she said, "but only if you promise not to harm my crew." "Your Highness, no," Thane protested. "I'm sworn to protect you." "And you have," she replied softly. "But sometimes protection means knowing when not to fight." Drake's ship, the Starwind, was everything her royal transport wasn't, lived in, practical, and somehow more honest in its worn functionality. As they jumped to hyperspace, Zaralyn found herself in Drake's quarters, studying the man who had inadvertently rescued her from her unwanted fate. "Why piracy?" she asked as he poured 2 glasses of something that smelled strongly of alcohol. "Why royalty?" he countered, handing her a glass. She laughed, a sound like crystal chimes that made his pulse quicken. "I didn't choose it, but you chose this life." "Freedom," Drake said simply. "I choose where to go, what to do, who to be. No masters, no rules except the ones I make." "No responsibilities?" Zaralyn asked, though without judgment. "Responsibility to my crew. That's enough." Over the following days, as they traveled to Drake's hideout in the asteroid fields, Zaralyn discovered a man who was far more complex than the simple pirate he appeared to be. He read ancient Earth poetry, played a musical instrument called a guitar, and treated his diverse crew with genuine respect and loyalty. More importantly, he listened to her, not as a princess or a political asset, but as Zara Lynn. When she spoke of her love for xenobiology, he asked thoughtful questions. When she mentioned her secret dream of exploring unknown worlds, his eyes lit up with understanding. "You know," he said one evening as they shared dinner in his quarters, "there are a million unexplored systems out there. A person could spend lifetimes discovering new worlds, new species." "A person, yes," she replied wistfully, "but not a princess with political obligations." Drake set down his fork and looked at her directly. "What if you weren't a princess?" "What do you mean?" "What if Zara Lynn, daughter of the Andorian royal house, tragically died in a pirate attack? What if someone else, someone free to make her own choices, happened to survive?" The possibility hung between them like a bridge to an impossible future. Zara Lynn's bioluminescent patterns shifted through a spectrum of emotions: fear, hope, longing, and something else that made Drake's heart race. "They would search for me," she whispered. "Let them search the galaxy," Drake replied. "They'll be looking for a princess." Before she could respond, the ship's alarm sounded. Drake's second-in-command burst into the quarters without ceremony. "Captain, we've got company. Royal Guard vessels closing fast. Looks like they tracked us." Through the viewport, Zara Lynn could see the sleek forms of Andorian warships surrounding their position. Her heart sank as reality crashed back down upon her. "Your Highness," came Captain Thane's voice over the comm system. "This is Captain Thane of the Royal Guard. We know you're aboard that vessel. Prepare to be boarded for your rescue." Drake looked at her, and she could see the conflict in his eyes. He could fight, try to escape with her, but against the Royal Guard's superior firepower, it would likely mean death for him and his crew. "I have to go," she said quietly. "I know," he replied, though every word seemed to cost him. As the Royal Guard prepared to board, Zara Lynn turned to Drake one final time. "Thank you," she said. "Not for kidnapping me, but for showing me what it means to choose." "This isn't over," Drake said with the confidence that had first attracted her to him. "A princess might have political obligations, but a woman in love has the strongest motivation in the universe." Captain Thane led the boarding party with military efficiency, but Zara Lynn could see the relief in his eyes as he confirmed her safety. As they prepared to transfer her back to the royal vessel, she caught his arm. "Captain," she said quietly, "I need to speak with you privately." In the corridor of her own ship, Zara Lynn made a decision that would change everything. "Thane, you've served my family loyally for 15 years. You've protected me, guided me, been more of a father than my own. I need you to do one more thing for me. Anything, Your Highness. I need you to help me disappear." Thane's stoic expression cracked with shock. "Your Highness, I can't possibly. My marriage to Prince Vextor will end a war but begin my imprisonment," she continued. "There has to be another way to secure peace. But more than that, Thane, I found something I never expected to find." "What's that, Your Highness?" "Love. Real love, not political convenience. And the man who showed it to me also showed me that even a princess can choose her own destiny." 3 months later, the galaxy mourned the tragic death of Princess Zara Lynn, killed when her transport suffered a catastrophic engine failure in deep space. The political marriage was cancelled, and diplomats worked to find alternative solutions to the brewing war. But in a small cantina on the outer rim world of Talos Prime, a human pirate named Marcus Drake sat across from a beautiful woman with silver-blue skin who called herself Dr. Zara Lynn, xenobiologist and explorer. Her bioluminescent patterns glowed with contentment as she planned their next expedition to uncharted worlds. And in the shadows, Captain Thane smiled as he watched over the woman he had sworn to protect, knowing that sometimes the greatest act of loyalty was helping someone find their own freedom. Captain Thane had saved her life by finding her when she was lost. But Marcus Drake had stolen her heart by showing her she had never truly been found until she chose to be.